I'm Gracie Gianoukos. My major is journalism and digital media production, and I focus on digital media production. I also have a minor in advertising and as well as marketing. I feel as if I studied the major because I had always just been so hands-on with production ever since I was a kid. Whenever I felt bored, I would always want to do something with my hands. I wouldn't want to just sit around and watch TV. Don't get me wrong, I would want to watch TV sometimes, but for the most part, I would just kind of like to play with things. And when that came along with cameras, started with arts and crafts, and then I got a hand on a flip cam, got my hand on a little tiny camera, and I just started making videos out of it and little slideshows of pictures. And then in high school, I started diving into portrait photography, and now I work on a magazine. And I do freelance photography almost full time, hopefully soon. And that's how I got into editorial photography, and it's just grown through that study. So I think the love for the study began at a young age, and I just felt as if that was kind of what I wanted to do in college.
Last year you made a short film.
Mm-hmm.
What was your inspiration for that?
It Is Distributed was about a particular story that was close to home for me. I wrote it about a late friend of mine that unfortunately lost their life to their mental health and the mixture of substances as well. He was a close friend of mine in high school, and we still talked throughout college, and just his story made me want to make something that would have him be heard, as well as many males that struggle with mental health and substance abuse and toxic masculinity, all these parts that play into a big role that creates a big problem in our society for men, unfortunately, as they are more likely to suffer from suicide than women are. And so that drew me into writing that film and directing it and producing it. And I was in one of my photojournalism classes one day, and my professor was talking, and he had postponed class from last week, which was not like him. We always had class, so I was like, something must have gone wrong. And unfortunately, his friend had taken his life as well, and he spoke to us about it in the next class. And he had said, just know that you guys can talk to me whenever there's a problem, and if you were to ever think to amount to that outcome that my friend did, just know that your pain will never ever leave this life. It will be distributed amongst everybody around you. So when he said that, it hit me in the chest, and I wrote a poem, and the poem became the film, and that's why it's a spoken word poem over the film, and it's kind of like the chronological order of his life in which I saw him struggle to the end. So that was the inspiration behind that film. I've made 3 films in my time here at Flagler College, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a lot of work, it's a lot of stress. I've done It Is Distributed, which is the movie about male mental health. I did We Are Nothing, which is about a toxic relationship between 2 partners. And then I did a documentary and narrative film, a more experimental documentary called From the Outside In, which is about biphobia inside and outside of the LGBTQIA+ community. I wrote and directed those as well. I co-wrote and co-directed the documentary and narrative series, but everything else that I've done is solely done by me independently. And then I've helped on other people's films, like my colleagues that helped on mine. I've helped do cinematography, and I've helped do boom, other things like that. But yeah, those were solely done by me. There are obstacles to filmmaking, and you might not know those obstacles until you make a film. Unfortunately, I worked with actors that I didn't know. I hired them from Jack's Film Bar, and it was a little difficult because they have their own schedules, they have their own time. They're doing me a favor at being on set, so being timely with them was difficult. That was definitely hard, to be on schedule, as well as just feeling like you're doing the best that you can for what you wrote, because sometimes you got to change things. So I think that's what I learned is timeliness, as well as pacing yourself and being flexible with change.
You take photos for a magazine, Strike Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a student-run magazine. Did you help create it, or you're just a part of it?
Strike was originally created at FSU, but I was on the founding issue of Strike Magazine Flagler, and they brought me on as the fashion director, and I just wanted to take photos as well. So I was like, can I do 2 positions at once? And they were like, sure. So I was on the very first issue of Strike Magazine Flagler, and I'm now on the 3rd issue, which will be my last issue, and it's super, super fun. I love it. if I didn't have Strike, I wouldn't know as many people, and I'm really, really grateful for that magazine and how it's helped me grow in my photography. Like, looking back for my photography a year ago when we first started to now, it's insane how drastically I've changed in my style and how much I've grown in my knowledge of my camera.
So you're into fashion too?
Yes.
Yes. So everything basically creative.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say I'm like a Renaissance woman when it comes to it. For fashion inspiration, I think I kind of look into early 2000s and like late 90s, but less like popularized trends now, like the whole Y2K like movement that's going about, like not as much into that, but more so like genuine trends from, you know, when we were younger. I kind of like dive into that for like the colors inspirations in my photos as well. It's more of a pop. It's something that's going to catch your eye, something that you wouldn't really see in like a day-to-day basis, but something that you could be creative with and have fun with. G99 Productions is my own production company that I made in January of 2021. When I started filming my first film, I just kind of was like, let me operate under this name. And so right now I'm kind of pursuing my photography under G99. That's where I'm using it for my portfolio on Instagram. I've got a website up and going, and I've got my films on there. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's me. I just kind of wanted to have a separate Instagram and a separate, you know, being that was a representation of my art. So that's what G99 is. I'm Gracie, and I was born in 1999.
What are your plans after college?
To pursue freelance photography, definitely. I think that it's calling my name. Whether it be concert photography, editorial photography, I want it to be editorial photography. I think that's what's calling my name. And I've been getting a lot of bookings in Florida recently, which makes me not want to leave, but you know, I do have plans to move to New York, so I think that, you know, it's going to be a competitive field up there, but that is really what is calling my name. I want to operate under myself and get hired by brands and companies and people and, you know, make photos for them.
What would you suggest to people who want to work in the media industry?
What would I suggest? Try everything. Literally try everything. I tried, you know, audio, I've tried film, I've tried photo, I've tried journalism, and I think that out of all of them, I like this one the best, photography. So just try everything that you possibly can, because if you try to stick to one thing, you might be miserable in it, and you don't want to do that, because, you know, working in media should be your hobby. It should be fun. It shouldn't be something that you dread. So I would definitely say try things out, pace yourself, and figure out what is your passion.